Okay, yeah. All right, we're... All right, we're live, but we have no one. Someone, where's our first visitor? Hey guys, how's it going? I was worried no one was gonna join us. It was just me, myself, and I, and Sarah for a little bit there. So, guys, I'm pulling up the comment section now. Hey Michael, how's it going? If you're not familiar with the live format, there will be a comment section where you can type in whatever you want to ask, and we'll see that, and we'll try and address the questions as they come in. So keep in mind your questions are public as well. So let us know what you guys are thinking, and we'd be happy to get back to you. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. All right, you got it up nice.
Blade 2.0, they are still in customs in LA as far as I know.
Yes, so we just got a question about the blades. They're still in customs in Los Angeles. We're hoping to get them by the end of this week, which means if we do, we'll have a one-day turnaround in the shop, send them right out to you guys, and we'll be letting you know exactly when that happens. And as we get updated, you guys will too. I'm sorry you haven't heard more, but we've just been going back and forth with them trying to see when those are going to be delivered. So that's what we're working on right now.
This video, I don't even know if I've seen that one yet.
Oh yes, the vegan cyclist just posted a pretty cool video. It's actually themed to be sort of like a video game chase scene. It's pretty cool. He is actually an avid cyclist. I don't know if you can tell by his bike, but he spent several $1,000s on it. Carbon fiber frame, all that. He's an in-shape guy, cycles a lot. And his wife, I think the video was titled Babymaker versus My Stay-at-Home Wife. She's not an avid cyclist, doesn't do it often. So not really an experienced rider, but she was someone who he bought the bike for so that she could actually go on rides with him and keep up. And it turns out, if you've seen the video, it was actually him that was struggling to keep up with her. So that's one of the reasons we made the Babymaker. It's for, you know, that everyday rider, that sort of thing, to keep up with.
When was the concept of the Babymaker first thought of? I actually don't know the answer to that. Well, it's been in the works for like a year and a half, right?
Yes. So the bike, we've actually been working on it almost 2 years now. If you've been following us since the beginning, we've had a couple trail models, a couple meant for the road. You know, we have the mountain bikes. But the overall goal of the Babymaker was to provide a stealth e-bike, so one that you can't tell is electric. And in addition, we wanted to make it an affordable e-bike that we could distribute to the masses. So that was kind of the concept behind it. From there, Pete and the production team just took it and ran with it. They decided to hide the battery in the down tube. We have that nice sleek hub motor in the back. So it's really been about 2 years in the works, and the overall goal was to provide an e-bike that is something you can commute on, but also something light and sleek that you could take on a train or in your New York City apartment. Not something big and bulky. You know, there are a lot of other bikes out there that, you know, weigh 50, 60, 70 pounds even. This was meant to be light, portable, and that sort of thing.
Decided the delivery regarding the delivery into Dubai. That's something that we're still working on. I brought it up to Rob. So yeah, still in the works. We'll keep all of our riders updated about that. Stretch goal for the disc vertical brakes on the drop markers reached. I don't know anything
So,
about that station.
there's been a lot of talk. Let me just go ahead and hit this now. I'm sure I'll do it at least twice more before we finish this video here. But the way the stretch goal is going to work is that when we hit that benchmark of the 6.9 million, we are going to deliver the Babymaker Pro with the drop bars, and then they're going to have those TRP brakes on them. That's something that we've been in contact with our suppliers with trying to get set up. We are extremely, extremely confident that we will hit that. So if you are one of those riders that has a Babymaker Pro with the drop bars, they're going to be coming with those TRP brakes, so you need not worry. Like I said, there's 6 days left in the campaign, and we fully anticipate hitting that goal there. All right. One thing I wanted to mention on that, first of all, if you have a standard Babymaker, don't need to worry about it. You're all set. As well as if you have the Bullhorn bars, we're going to stay with those Magura MT30 hydraulic disc brakes. Those are going to be horizontally mounted on the bar. The reason we've kind of had to go around and look for another supplier for the drop bars is because those MT30s are only designed to be mounted horizontally. If you were to throw it on the curve of that down bar, it'd be sticking out way too far, and it'd be tough to get a good grip on it with your fingers and hands. So we needed to make some updates there. There's been a lot of questions about shipping. One thing I wanted to say on that is that it will be $99 for the United States. That's only the lower 48. There will be additional shipping if you live in Hawaii or Alaska. And international shipping is going to start at $249. There may be some people that we have to reach out to later on, such as, if you live on an island or something like that, and shipping will be a little bit more. We are going to have to go ahead and reach out to you guys for a little bit additional shipping. But right now, as it stands, $99 domestic in the U.S., $249 international. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to pull up the video. Sarah, how'd you get that video?
You.
Okay. You want to take that one?
I don't think it can.
So,
as far as I know, it's not compatible.
So the Gladiator is going to come with the brakes they have on it. If you now these have they do have disc brakes on them, so it would be up to you to find out the a third-party manufacturer if you wanted to upgrade those brakes. That is something that you can do on your own. I don't know if you've seen in the Babymaker VIP page, but one of our beta riders, Eugene, actually swapped out the handlebars for some carbon ones that he had laying around. So all our bikes have standard parts. So if you need a longer seat tube, if you want to extend the stem, if you want new handlebars, these are all things that you guys can go ahead and do on your own. But right now, that Gladiator cannot be upgraded by us to have those Magura brakes on them.
We have somebody asking if we can send the Babymaker Pro out before September, October. As much as we would love to be able to do that, John, we don't have any in stock now. They're in production. So that's going to be the earliest date that we're going to be able to get those out. Would a more casual rider benefit from the regular Babymaker and the Bullhorns and disc brakes? Much better. What do you think?
So if you the average rider, I get this question a lot. I would definitely recommend the Bullhorn bars, especially if riding on those drop bars is not something you're familiar with. It gives you a more upright ride, so your torso is straighter, more comfortable. The reason you'd ride on those down bars is to get a more aerodynamic ride, so you can get all the speed out of the bike. But if you're not running for time trials, if this is just a bike you're looking to go out and cruise on, then I would definitely stick with the Bullhorns. As it stands now, about 80% of our orders are for those Bullhorn bars. They're definitely more comfortable. Now, in regards to the Pro versus Standard, that's really up to you guys. The Pro is more of a performance package with those hydraulic disc brakes. In addition to that, the Carbon Gates belt drive is really reliable. It is not something that you're going to have to do a lot of maintenance on. It won't rust if it gets wet, that sort of thing. So on their website, if you actually look on Gates's website, it says that those belts last 3 to 4 times as long as a standard chain. And they even said about 19,000 miles or something like 3,500 or 35,000 kilometers before you will ever need to repair or do anything like that.
Got another question about if you can change the color of your existing order. Yes, you can. Just email us at hello@flx.bike with your the first and last name on the order, your email that's on the order, and your order number, and I can switch it for you.
Yeah, guys, that is the quickest way to reach out to us, is to send an email to hello@flx.bike. If you call in, we're so swamped right now. If you call in and leave a message about the Babymaker, it is unlikely you'll get a response. So definitely hit us up via email for the quickest and most concise response. You can list all your questions there. But before you even do that, I'd highly encourage you to check the FAQ page, the frequently asked questions. If you navigate to the campaign page, it's at the bottom. We have all those questions organized by technical, legal, whatever classification your specific question will fall in. It's most likely there. After you viewed that, go ahead and send us an email if we still haven't been able to answer your question, or if it's not listed there. So, Sean, back to your question: would a more casual rider benefit from the Bullhorns or the disc brakes? Like I said, the Bullhorns are definitely the move to go if you're not an extremely avid cyclist or know for a fact that you want the drop bars. Definitely the Bullhorn. The disc brakes themselves are a little bit of a nicer feel. Basically, what the standard Babymaker has is what they call C brakes or rim brakes, and that is what you'll see on a lot of the mid-range models. Basically, you have 2 brake pads that actually clamp down onto the rim of the bike tire to help slow it down, whereas the hydraulic disc brakes actually have a disc and a caliper similar to what your car would have to slow it down. Those are a little more efficient, a little bit nicer of a stopping style and that sort of thing. You'll see those on a lot of the higher end bikes. Do you need it or do you not need it? That's a question more of budget. But with that being said, the C brakes are a great pick if you're looking to save a little money. If you're not going on super long rides or plan on, racing down mountains, it's not a necessity, but it is like one of those things that you can upgrade to for those Babymakers. Hey Ryan, like we just said, if you need to update your order or have us questions, our email is hello@flx.bike. That's HELLO at flx.bike. You can let us know what you need updated, and we'd be happy to help you out there. Same thing if you need to color change, any sort of thing like that. So, Brian, if you got a beta bike, we're not going to be emailing you any of those or sending out any of those stretch goals. The stretch goals apply for people who have purchased the standard or the pro Babymakers, not any of the beta bikes. We get this question a lot too. Someone who's 5'7", 5'8", right on that line. If you guys were to look at, let me put this down for a second. If you guys are to look, we have 2 different sizes for the Babymaker. There is a smaller 19-inch frame. That's for riders of about 4'11" to 5'7", and the larger 23-inch frame for riders of 5'8" and above. If you're right on that line, if you're 5'8" like you are, I would say go with the larger model. The thing to really the thing that's the biggest deciding factor would be your inseam. So if you're standing on flat ground, the measurement from the ground to the middle point of your crotch, the top tube on the Babymaker is completely horizontal, parallel to the ground, and on the larger bike, it stands at 33 inches. So when you measure your inseam, you want to keep in mind that it doesn't need to be 33 inches or taller, because that is your measurement when you are standing with your feet flat on the ground. And when you're straddling the bike, you have an extra 2, 3, maybe even 4 inches to have both your toes on the ground. So we've had riders even smaller, 5'7", 5'6", ride the taller frame. While I wouldn't say it's the perfect fit, it is definitely doable. And if you're 5'8" and an experienced rider, I'd go with the bigger one, because it's going to be much easier to adapt to that larger frame. You just put the seat all the way down than it would be to get on the smaller bike and have your knees hitting your elbows and that sort of thing. So Sarah's actually, how tall are you, Sarah?
Like 5'5".
5'5", and she can ride the bigger frame. It is, like I said, it's not comfortable, it's not super comfortable, and it's not built for her, but it's definitely rideable at 5'5". So at 5'8", I definitely recommend you going for that taller bike. So Sean, I think you're referring back to the question about the braking. Like I said, those hydraulic disc brakes have phenomenal stopping power. So if that's something you're concerned about at 6'3" and 230 pounds, I'd definitely go for the upgrade there. Because the pressure you put on those brakes converts so much better to stopping power with those hydraulic disc brakes. You can seize them right up and come to a complete stop quickly. And at 230 pounds, if you're speeding down a hill, that is something you're going to want. So for your particular situation, I'd recommend going for the Pro model. We get this question a lot, Chris Iffy. What is the real world range for a 200-pound rider in a hilly environment? So there's so many factors that go into play of the range of the bike. What we say is the range of the Babymaker is 15 to 50 miles. Now, keep in mind, you need to factor in one, your level of pedal assist. The bike has 5 levels, 6 if you count level 0. So the higher pedal assist, the more work the motor is doing, which means the quicker the battery is going to drain. That's one factor. Second factor is the incline. If you're riding heavy hills, again, that motor is going to have to work harder for you. So you're going to be on that lower end of the spectrum. The third thing is other factors like rider weight. Are you riding into a headwind? That sort of thing. So I can't give you an exact range for your specific situation there, being 200 pounds. What I can say, 15 to 50 miles is the range for the bike. That's going to be one of those things you'll have to figure out based on the hills. Now, keep in mind, if you were to ride at pedal assist 0 going downhill and on flat ground and only kick on the motor on those hills, obviously you're going to be towards the upper end of that scale. So it's really dependent on how you ride and when you engage that pedal assist level. So if you're going pedal assist 5 up huge steep hills, riding all out, it's going to be on the lower edge there. Again, Thomas, I just went over this. If you're 5'8", I would first measure your inseam. The top tube's 33 inches, so you want to be able to straddle that on your toes. But most 5'8" riders, I do recommend the larger frame size, because if you go for the smaller and you don't fit, it is much harder to adapt to that than it is to fit on the bigger 23-inch frame size. Give me a second here, guys. I'm trying to scroll through all these questions we're getting, make sure I hit them all. So, Kurt, you asked why is there a shipping charge when we advertise free shipping? Well, we have several models of bikes that we currently ship out of our San Diego warehouse. So, if you're getting a Gladiator, a Blade, a Trail, any one of those bikes that we currently have in stock, we ship for free. But these bikes that you're getting, the Babymakers, are not coming from our San Diego warehouse. They're shipping direct to you from the factory, which is why we have to include that shipping charge. All right, so you want to take a few?
Sure. Let's see, where are we at?
Just answered Kurt's. Yeah, just did that one. So,
Matt, yes, if you would like to change the color of your bike, just email at us at hello@flx.bike with your order number and your email that's on the order, along with your first and last name. I can change it for you. Baby. So the standard does not come with the belt drive that is that has the chain only, and that can't be swapped. Yes, you can change your handle preference anytime before the campaign ends. Just email us and I can help you switch that out. Unless there's an extension to the stem and the width, I think it would be not comfortable. George, we've had riders at 6'4" that were able to comfortably ride it. The great thing about our bikes is they're very customizable. So if you want to change those handlebars out, that's something that you can do once you get the bike and get like an aftermarket stem. Whoa, goodness. Scott, yes, we will have the Babymaker available on our website eventually. It will be closer to the end of the summer once they've started shipping out. But yes, we will have them available on our website. We don't have a suspension seat post for the Babymaker yet, right?
no, we
No.
don't. But that's another one of those
Yeah.
aftermarket things.
Yeah, so we don't have one, but if you can find them on Amazon for really cheap, or you could just take it to your local bike shop whenever you get the bike, and then they can help you size a seat post that fit the bike. Thomas, as far as I know, the standard can't be upgraded to the belt drive. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. Yeah, no. After I don't think there's a way to switch it over. So if you're thinking that you want the Pro version with the belt drive system, I would go for that one. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we have a couple of people who backed our first campaign that have gotten Babymakers too. It's always exciting to have the support from our original backers. Brittany, you don't need to worry about that. Like Rob said, we're definitely going to meet that stretch goal. Yes, Ryan, you can. Actually, I don't know if you can't change people can't change their order after the campaign's over, right?
No, so yeah, tell them they need to change it.
Yeah, so if you want to change it, that needs to happen before the campaign ends, because once that ends, that's when we send our master list of orders to the factory, and that's how we do our count. So they're going to make whatever we send to them. Sarah, depending on when you ordered, yes. So far, we are not experiencing any delays, and we're still shooting for the October timeframe. Do we know where the bikes are shipping from that are going to the UK? I know that they're not shipping from the United States.
Spain.
They're So the bikes that are being sent to the UK are being sent from Spain, so not from the US. Jeff, the shipping to Canada is $249 US, and then you have to look into the tax cost for whatever it is. It's different everywhere. I don't know the answer to this one. Will brake cables be routed inside drop bars?
Yes. Yeah, I can take it over
Okay.
if you want. Get to your question here. Will the brake cables be routed inside the bars? Pete's still looking into that. They're either going to be inside the bars themselves, or the bar tape is going to be around them. So either way, they are not going to be visible when you are riding the bike, or when your hands are on it. You're not going to be able to see them or have them hanging off, or worry about having to zip tie them down, that sort of thing. Again, the Babymaker, we want to make it as sleek and slim as possible. So one of the big parts about that is cable management. So we're going to do everything we can to, if they're not fully integrated inside the bars themselves, they will be taped down, not visible or anything like that. So Brian asked if the brakes, the C brakes were squeaking. That is, you can make adjustments to that. Keep in mind, brakes have a break-in period as well. So the newer rubber pads on that prototype do offer a little, or do have a little squeaking in the beginning. But with more riding, that will quiet down. Hey George, 6'4". You are at the upper end of the scale there. So, like Sarah mentioned a little bit before, the narrowness of the handlebars, I don't think is going to play as much of a factor as the length of from your hand placement to your torso, which is why we do recommend that extended stem. With that being said, like getting the longer third-party stem, you can also get third-party bars. So if you were to purchase a bike and find that you don't really like, or if you find that the bars are too narrow for you, you can add a different bar to it as well. Dang, a bunch of questions just came in. My whole page refreshed. Give me a second, guys. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Okay. So thank you for chiming in. Someone just wrote in the comment section here, I can vouch for the guidance on going with the larger frame size. If you're in the 5'8", 5'9" range, I stopped by 2 weeks ago to ride the larger prototype. That's the 23-inch prototype. It was very comfortable for him at 5'9". Again, that's why I'm saying that if you are like right on that border, measure your inseam. If you've got really short legs, this may not apply, but most of you guys are going to want that larger bike frame. Like I said, it's going to be way easier to adapt to that larger frame. If you don't fit on a bike, you just don't fit. So that is something to think about. But yeah, we just had someone chime in. 5'9", came into the San Diego shop to test ride, and they said that 23-inch frame was A-okay. So the inseam site, Thomas, real quick, there is a sizing chart on our campaign page. If you scroll down about halfway through, off the top of my head, I believe the inseam height for that smaller frame is 30.3 inches, so about 3 inches shorter than the bigger one. So Jeff, what is my response to the comments of people the bike enthusiasts who are claiming only two sizes? If you are an avid rider, someone who's going to spend thousands of dollars on their bike, you can go in and get custom fit. There are bike companies out there that have 5 or 6 frame sizes. However, that converts to a higher purchase value, which is why we have the 2 frame sizes that we think will get the most people comfortably on our bikes. Um, and another thing too is if you're not going on 100-mile bike rides, the importance of an inch or two on your hand placement is not going to be as big of a factor. So we're designing, like I said in the beginning, we're designing these bikes to get in as many people's hands as we can, to offer a bike that has both the performance features but also the rideability factor, and that is why we only have the 2 sizes there. So Michelle, you should still fit on that 19-inch frame size, even though you're only 5'3". Like I said, Sarah is 5'5", and she fits on the bigger one. If you're just 2 inches shorter than her, then you should have no problems on that 19-inch frame. I think even on the site, we recommend that someone who's 4'11" can hop on that smaller frame size. So, David, you're asking, you're receiving your Babymaker in Canada, but if the border reopens, can you receive a refund? No, we're not going to be able to do that for you. If you want to get it shipped to the US, you can, but it's all up to you to get it across that border. So if something occurs or doesn't happen, um, that risk is on you. But if you do find a way to do it, we're not going to be able to give you a refund there.
Is there 1 or 2 water bottle cage mounts?
We just got asked if there's 1 or 2 water bottle cage mounts. If you get the touring package, you will get set up with 1 water bottle mount for that bike. For those of you who don't know, if you go to checkout, you'll select your bike, either the Pro or the Standard. Then you'll select your color, size, and bar configuration. Once you hit complete checkout, scroll down, there'll be a list of accessories to include our 2-year warranty, extra battery, and then there's also the touring package, which has a lot of features such as a cargo rack for the back, LCD lights for the front, a water bottle rack, fenders. I'm sure I'm missing a cell phone mount. I'm sure I'm missing something there, but if you go and look, you'll be able to purchase the touring package with all those things on it as well. So, Jeff, you asked this question. If you're using this for fitness and plan to hammer it on the road, um, would you would you recommend that the Bullhorns or the drop bars? So if you're going on that Sunday drive, like you said, the Bullhorns are going to be comfortable. But if you want that added grip option to be lower, I'd go for the drop bars. Keep in mind, if you do get the drop bars, right, you can still stand up and ride it on that horizontal placement that the Bullhorns have. There's going to be grip tape there. You're going to be able to put your hands in the exact same position you would be on the Bullhorns. The difference is there's not going to be that brake lever there. You're going to have to reach down to the curve of the drop bar to do it. So if you're someone who's on the line, if you're looking to use this bike for exercise and you want that ability to get the stance lean forward, you can go with the drop bars and know that if you do pick up, you can ride in that standard position the Bullhorns will offer, but they just won't have that braking setup there. Like I said, though, most of the people riding, you're going to be comfortable on those Bullhorn bars with the brakes right there in front of you.
Diameter of the seat post the
diameter of the seat post is
30.9.
I think it's 30.3. Give me 1 second, guys. Someone asked about the diameter of the seat post because, like we said before, this is something you can update if you want a better seat. Yeah, the Babymaker seat post is 30.4 millimeters. So if you're looking at aftermarket seat posts, that sort of thing, it will be 30.4.
Picking it up is not an option.
Yeah, I want to hand it over to you real quick.
Would it be possible to... Hi, Thomas. Yeah, so as of now, we do not have the option to pick up the Babymaker at our San Diego warehouse. Just because we got so many orders, we will probably have them at more than one warehouse, not just our San Diego warehouse. So we're not 100% sure where they're going to be shipping from. So as of now, that is not an option. It is not possible to get a US spec bike in the UK. So just because of legal reasons, we can't get it past the border, or not the border, get it past customs. So they won't even let us bring the bikes into the UK. Do we have any media with the standard Babymaker with the chain on it?
No.
Yeah, so Sarah, we don't have any media with that right now, just because the only bikes that we did have at our warehouse were the prototypes. So we'll have more media on that soon. Jeff, the orange is really popular and the silver is really popular. I personally like the orange the most, honestly, but we have a lot of people who pick the silver just because they really like the brown accents that are on the silver Babymaker. Which one did you say was your favorite, Ben?
I like the sterling silver.
The sterling silver, yeah. I can't get over the orange. The orange is my favorite. You're welcome, Thomas. Do we have any pictures of the matte black? If you go on our Indiegogo page, there's a list of, I think, 4 or 5 of the colors that we have, so you can look at it on there. I don't know if we have any media with it, just because that is a newer color, so we didn't get any prototypes with the black. But you can view it on our Indiegogo page. The black is the only color that we have that won't have the logo on it. So
it will, but it'll be in gray. It'll be.
Oh, it has it on there? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, never mind. Ben just corrected me. Yeah, Thomas, that's the only picture we have right now. As soon as the bikes get closer to being done, we'll be able to get more pictures from Pete, who's over there taking care of the whole production side of things. Trying to think of what are some of the other major questions we've been getting recently.
I can take it over.
Okay.
There's a couple I have in mind. Kind of go back to what Sarah was talking about the colors. Black and the blue raspberry are ones we decided to add once the campaign begun. So we don't have any of those frames painted yet. As soon as we do, we're going to be sending those out. If you guys have been following along, if you've purchased a bike, or even if you haven't, if you go to the campaign page and look where it says updates, we have about an update going out every day, almost every 2 days. So that is where you'll be able to get the latest information on what's going on in production, what's going on here in San Diego, and that's where future updates will be. So as this campaign comes to a close, we are still going to be hitting that updates page, letting you know what's going on in the factories. As we get, bikes in new colors, or bikes in the colors, blue and black, we'll post them there. In addition to that, once we get an actual standard bike, with a chain and C brakes, we'll post it there. again, that updates section is going to be your best friend. And that is where we get to reach out to you guys along this whole process because, you're basically placing a pre-order with us. You give us the money, we give the money to the factory. Factory builds the bikes. So we want to bring you along that entire process, show you what we're working on. You guys are basically witnessing your bikes being made as we make those updates. So be sure to keep an eye on that to stay the most informed. David, yes, assembly is happening. The reason we can't show you those pictures, painting of the frames is one of the last things we do. But we have sourced all the parts. Production is currently underway. That's why we were able to give the estimated delivery time frame, is because we have about the right number of bikes that we're going to need to make. So production is already rolling, and we hope to get those bikes to you as soon as possible. Hey, thanks so much for the support, Brian. We really appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, guys. We appreciate your support too. There's a lot going on, so I don't want anybody to think we're ignoring you. We sold almost 5,000 bikes. So if each of you guys wrote us an email, that'd be a lot to cover. And some of you out there want to know a whole bunch, which we definitely encourage, guys. That's why we're here. But there's going to be a little bit of a delay time from when we get back to you. That's why if you have a question, we encourage you to check the FAQ page. Chances are it's there. But if it isn't, shoot us an email at hello@flx.bike, and we'll do everything we can to get back to you as quickly as possible. Hey, Jeff, if you requested being a member of the VIP page, we'll surely accept you. We do that about once every couple days. We got a big pool of people in there. So if you haven't already as well, if you go to facebook.com and search Babymaker VIP, that is a group page we've set up for all our new riders and future riders. Hey, Anthony asks, will beta versions be available after production? No, beta means prototype. So once production is finished, you're going to get a production bike, not one of the tester ones. That's what beta means. It's sort of the ones we had sent out here. That's the one Pete took on his ride, his 3,500 kilometer journey to test out. It's one we've rode up hills. We have a couple bikes that we really punished. We ran in the rain. We did all these things to test out these beta bikes to make sure they'll function. And any problems we found, we then relay to the factories so that your production bike that comes is going to be top notch and not have any issues. Hey Sven, you're worried about legal issues. I want to say don't worry about that at all. For us to send a bike, it's on us to make sure it's compliant first. So any bike is going to follow all the regulations and that sort of things for electric bikes in your country. So when you take it out of the box, no matter where you are, what country you're in, it's going to comply with those regulations. Now, with that being said, because we get this question often, I'm in Europe, but I want the US specs. What we're going to do is once we deliver these bikes, we're going to send over a manual that allows you to go into that LCD and adjust the specs for closed circuit and track use. So that means that you will be able to get the performance of a US bike in Europe if you make those adjustments yourself. Now, when you do that, you're assuming full liability. The bike we send you is compliant with the rules and regulations, and we're letting you adjust it for track and closed circuit use. Okay, I have to say that, for track and closed circuit use, but you can adjust it yourself. Once you do, though, you are now liable. Oh, thanks so much. You said this is the most fun you've had buying the bike. That's one of those different things about an Indiegogo campaign, is you're buying a bike that's sort of in the works. So that's why you're able to get all these updates and that sort of thing. Hey Jeff, we will not run out of bikes until the campaign is over. We're constantly adjusting stock and going back and forth with the factory. So running out of stock is not something you have to worry about. And if you're one of those particular people worrying about, getting the stretch goal and the brakes, we will not run out of stock of those bikes. That is not something you need to concern yourselves over. Hey, Ryan McGee, if you need to adjust your order, and anybody who needs to adjust their order, send an email to hello@flx.bike. That's HELLO at flx.bike. In that email, include your order number and then changes you wish to make, and we'd be happy to do that for you. All right, guys, we've been on about for 50 minutes now. I'm going to hand it over to Sarah. She's going to answer some of your questions. We're going to probably do this for a couple minutes more, so let us know what you got and we'll be happy to answer you.
Well, before you pass it over, can you answer this between the carbon gates and the top trans belt drive question? I don't know.
Where are we right now?
Thomas Tran at the bottom. There, easier.
Okay, yeah. Thomas asked, what's the difference between the carbon gate and the top trans belt drive? I'm actually not familiar with top trans, so I don't want to give you any false information there. I do know we've done our research on the carbon gates belt drive. It has performed really well in all the tests that we've put out, and if you look on their website, you can see a little bit of the specs of the carbon gates. It's going to last 3 to 4 times as long as a regular chain for about 19,000 miles or 1900 miles or 19,000 miles or 35,000 kilometers before that needs to be adjusted. So that is why we went with the gates. I don't know. I'm not familiar with top trans. So again, I don't want to make any comparison or say anything that I don't know. So.
Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Kind of slammed you down there. Closed circuit. What is?
So
Europe is a closed circuit.
No. So what I mean by closed circuit is those are specific like indoor track courses.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So the European guidelines state that you can't have a motor over a certain wattage for public riding. So that means taking it out on the streets and stuff. So we're going to send you something that allows you to adjust it for when you're riding on those closed circuit courses, because then speed, wattage, that's not an issue when you're on that closed circuit course. But when you take it out into public, that's when those rules and regulations are going to comply for an e-bike. So that is why we send it compliant to you. You can adjust it later, but once you adjust it, if you were to ride not on a closed circuit course, so in public, and you were to be pulled over or something like that, it is on you, not us. They're sent to be compliant when they are delivered at your doorstep. What you do from there is on you. It's kind of like riding with a helmet, that sort of thing. We encourage you to do it, but we can't control how you guys use these bikes. So that is something for you to decide if and when you get the bike.
Life of the battery. So, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but after about 500 cycles, you're going to have around 70% of your original battery capacity. So that just means like after 500 full charging cycles, you're going to have about 70% of what your battery could originally hold. I believe so. I don't know where the serial numbers are located, Brian, on the bikes, but on our regular models, they're on the forks.
I think they're gonna be on the top tube.
So they might be on, yeah, Brent just said on the top tube. But just so you know, we don't store the serial numbers in our systems. So if your bike gets stolen or anything like that, it's good to have the serial number so you can report it to your local police station. But we don't have those in our system, so that won't be like registered to you.
Yeah, so what you're going to want to do when you get your bike is take a picture of that serial number so you have it for your own records. All the bikes are going to come with serial numbers printed on them. What Sarah means is we don't have it associated. Sarah has bike ABC123, Ben has, this number. They're all going to come with each individual serial numbers, but it's up to you to keep track of which one is yours.
Something I always suggest all of our riders to do. Normally, you can add your bike to your homeowners or renters insurance, and so if it was to ever get stolen, depending on your policy, normally they'll cover it. Arthur, replacing the battery is fairly simple. It only requires a couple of tools. So if you go to our YouTube account, you can just look in there, and we have a video that Jason just recently did showing how to swap out the battery. Is the Bullhorn handlebar wider than the curled one? They're the same, right?
Yeah, the width of those two is pretty much identical. There might be a half-inch discrepancy, but no, the width, so how far apart your hands are, is about the same for each one. So you're really picking your preference in your hand placement, not necessarily how wide apart they are, but if you want that horizontal grip or the more bent over grip on the drop bars.
I couldn't remember them being any different. Yep, no problem. Of course, Brian. We love that you pop into our live videos. When is the campaign over?
So I'll take over. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop on here for about 10 more minutes. So make sure you get your questions in. Right now, the campaign is set to go for, I believe it's another 6 days. What happened last time was we had a 30-day runtime, and Indiegogo ended up reaching out to us saying, hey, you guys are doing really well. Would you like another 30 days? We said yes. Currently, right now, we are the second highest performing promotion or campaign that Indiegogo has ever run. I can't guarantee whether they're going to reach out again. We'd love it if they did. What I will say is this. If they do reach out after 6 days to extend the campaign, the bikes are not going to be at the same price point. They are going to increase if and when that happens. So if you're waiting, don't get your bike as soon as you can, because the campaign may end, and if it doesn't, the bikes won't be at the same price anyways. So definitely hop on that if you're looking to get one soon. Hey Jason, yeah, yes, the bikes are going to be sent to your countries to meet the rules and regulations of your country. I'm just going to go ahead and riff for a couple seconds here. There's some questions I see a lot that I want to make sure I cover. One of those is serviceability. We're located in San Diego. If you get a bike in, the UK or France, what are we going to do? Well, first of all, we have a factory in Spain, which is going to have all these parts. And the way it works is the bike's going to come with a free 1-year warranty. If you guys have done your research, most bike companies only have a 6-month warranty, if they even have one at all. So your Babymaker is going to come with that 1-year warranty. If you ever have an issue with a particular component, all you'd have to do is send us an email, take a picture of it so that we can document it. And what we do is we send you out a new component along with a video tutorial of how to fix that particular part. One of the great things is that most of these parts are standard, other than the battery and the motor and LCD. If you have to replace a wheel, a brake pad, or something like that, we'll send you a video tutorial. But if you're not comfortable doing that maintenance yourself, you can take the bike to a local bike shop and they can do it for you. So we're still going to be just as interactive with you guys, post-production as we are now. So if you ever have an issue, let us know, and we'd be happy to help you guys out there. Do we sell hybrids with shocks? No, the Babymaker is a road bike through and through. We get a lot of questions like this, surprisingly. Can I put mountain bike tires on it? I want to add a battery, this and that. There's tons and tons of different e-bike models out there. The Babymaker is designed specifically to be that commuter road bike, that sleek, slender, portable e-bike. So are there ones out there that get more range? Sure. Are there e-bikes that are more powerful? Absolutely. But that's not what we're going for. If it would be impossible to meet everyone's demands for every particular type of bike they want. So we went with that sleek, compact design. So you're not going to be able to get shocks. You're not going to be able to put mountain bike tires on it. This is more of a road bike for that working class person, wants to use it for a commute, wants to use it for recreation, that sort of thing. All right, guys, I'm gonna be on here for about another 5 minutes, so be sure to get your questions in, and I'm happy to get back to you. Rod asked, "Is the frame under warranty?" Yes, all those components are under warranty, from the battery to the motor to the frame to the brakes. If it's on your bike, it's under warranty, and again, that's a free 1-year one. Most bike companies don't do that at all. You know, a lot of them are 3 months, 6 months even, but most don't even have one. So we're really trying to hook you guys up here and not only deliver the most reliable bike ever, but in the extreme off chance something does happen, we're still here for you. And if we haven't proven that so far, I don't know what else we can do, guys. We really want this bike to be the best thing for you. Sven, you can't decide on the color. Oh, like I said, my favorite might be that Sterling Silver. The Sterling Silver is the only bike that's going to come with the brown bar tape, the brown seat, and the brown wheels. So that's kind of a differentiating factor than all the other colors, but the other ones are great too. If I wasn't picking silver, I think I'd go with that blue raspberry. That is not a very common color for the bike. So if you want something flashy, if you want something to turn heads, blue raspberry is going to be the color that's my number two. So that's what I'd recommend. Give me 1 second here, guys. So someone recommend or someone asked what kind of bike lock should I get? Kryptonite actually makes great bike locks. There's several different styles out there. Um, what I would recommend is that you get one with a thick chain, and what you want to do is actually um, use the lock around the frame as well as that front tire, because on the Babymakers, the front tire has a quick release skewer. So if you only lock down the front tire, you're going to come out with just the wheel sitting there, and the rest of your bike's going to be gone. So you want to make sure you lock it through the frame, around the bike rack, and then through the front wheel as well. So everything's nice and locked down and secure. All right, guys, about 3 more minutes, so get your questions in. Sarah asked for matte black. Will what color will the logo be? I think we're gonna do a subtle gray color on that black frame, so it's not gonna be neon pink on a black frame or anything like that. So if you're looking to be a little more subtle with a name on the bottom, black's probably matte black is probably your best choice. Hey Mary, you asked. I've gotten this question actually a couple times now, and I'm glad you brought it up. You said you're used to riding a bike with gears, and you wonder what the feel of a fixed gear is going to be like. Well, uh, first off, the fact that it's electric is really going to alleviate a lot of that. Um, when it comes to hills and that sort of thing. I'd say grades 20% and steeper, you're going to have to put in some work. But the nice thing about the Babymaker is that it has those 5 levels of pedal assist. So if you need that extra help on the hills, you can go ahead and crank it up. The gearing ratio is, what is it, 64-22? Basically, it's the equivalent of what about fifth or sixth gear on your standard bike probably is. So you're not going to be able to climb up, vertical hills in gear one like you normally would, and you may not be able to get that super high gear for incredible top speeds on downhills. It's really a mid-range kind of gear. So if you have hills, you shouldn't have a problem with them unless you're going up very, very steep ones. Give me 1 second here. All right, guys, get your questions in. Last call. I'm ringing the last call bell. So someone asked belt drive versus chain and about the feel of it. The feel is actually going to be pretty similar between the two. If anything, the belt drive is going to be a little bit smoother and a little bit quieter. Other than that, the feel is not too different. What it comes down to is the longevity of that chain and the maintenance that you need to do on the bike itself. The belt drive is going to last about 3 to 4 times longer than the chain drive. In addition, like I mentioned before, it's not going to rust. You're not going to have to worry about those things as well. Hey, Ingo, just to talk on this one more time, the bike's going to be sent to comply with your country's regulations. From there, we're going to send out a way to adjust the specs of the bike so that it can perform better on a closed circuit track or race course. Again, they're going to be sent to you to be compliant. What you do from there is on you. So if you live in Europe and want to adjust it to get the performance that a bike in the US would have, that is an option. Again, that is for the closed circuit courses. What you do on your own time is up to you guys. There are going to be no delays as of yet because of the virus or anything like that. Production is rolling. So the mid-October delivery date from bikes ordered today, they will be delivered mid-October. That's what we're looking at. Yeah, someone made a good point. Chains over time can rust, can warp a little bit. They can even break. I don't know if you saw this video, but we actually used the belt of one of the Babymakers and a forklift to lift Rob's van. And there was no stretching even after that. We compared it side by side with another one. So though you are going to pay an additional cost for that belt drive, if you factor in the repair of a chain 3 to 4 times, because that belt drive is going to last 3 to 4 times longer, you may almost get to that break-even point. That's why I recommend the Pro, especially right now with the Indiegogo campaign. It's extremely discounted. You guys are getting these bikes at a price that's not going to be available after this. So if you got the extra change laying around, I definitely recommend that Pro model. Hey, Gerald, at 5'7", you're right on the borderline there. What I would suggest looking at is your inseam and then comparing that to the sizing chart we have on the Indiegogo campaign. Again, remember, your inseam, you're going to have about 3 to 4 more inches of clearance than your inseam says, because when you measure your inseam, you're flat-footed, right? When you're standing on a bike, you can be on that seat and have both your toes on the ground. So that's something for you to decide. And if you were to say with that 19-inch frame, let me just say, you can also get a stem extension to give you a little more clearance if that's something you're looking for. All right, guys, last question here. Is the EU models made in Europe? We have a factory in Spain. So if you're living in Europe, that is where the bike will come from. We have one in China, one in Spain. If you live in Europe, it'll come from Spain. So that's where these are made. That's all we have for you guys right now. Like we've mentioned, still got questions. First thing you do is, I feel like a teacher right now. First thing you do, check the FAQ page on the campaign. Chances are it's there. If it isn't, send us an email to, what is it, Sarah?
hello@flx.bike.
Yep, that's it. hello@flx.bike, and we'd be happy to get to you guys. Thanks so much. We're planning on doing a couple more of these. Like I said, it's really about the experience, the interaction with you guys, which we love so much, and that's why we want to answer as many of these questions as we can and go live as often as possible. So thank you guys.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one.